Hello, America. It's Jay Muller, the Director of Recreation, and I'm here with three of our cast members, Carol, Haley, and Bailey. And behind us, you can see these great, amazing costumes. Well, we all wanted to share with you the blessing. You see, we got these from Katie Brooks, and the girls have been having a great time trying them all on. Now, if you followed the organization over the years, you know that Katie was a founding member of Recreation and traveled with the editions 1 through 5. Well, she also had her own show after that, the Katie Brooks Show, which traveled nationwide and performed in veterans' homes and hospitals, and she continues in the professional circuit today. She's an amazing singer-songwriter, and she was so generous that when it came time to clean out the old costume closet, instead of just donating it, she kind of lent it to us in an heirloom family kind of way and gave all the costumes to Recreation. We now have our own Katie Brooks section in the costume room. But we had a great chance to go through all of these boxes that she sent, and she even said that there are more coming. So the girls are real excited about that too. But thank you to Katie for these one-of-a-kind creations. Thanks to all of you for supporting the group over the years. And you're gonna get to see a really interesting conversation among the generations today. The three ladies here got to sit down with Katie and her mom, the original costumer for Recreation and founder of the group, CAROLYN Brooks. And it was an interesting afternoon of family, of camaraderie, and of legacy.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's skinny too.
I know. Well, we wanted to show the costumes. We actually have an entire section of the costume room now dedicated to Katie Brooks costumes. We have a whole rack because we just love all of the packages that you sent us filled with your costumes. And I personally have tried every single one of them on.
Well, more are on the way.
Awesome. I mean, it's funny. Do you store it in your basement there in Florida then?
No, I'm not in Florida. I live in Nashville.
In Nashville, okay. Because I remember Mr. Muller saying that y'all used to store all of the Recreation costumes up in the basement of the house. And I was like, how did they fit there?
We see our room now. There's so many
filled with costumes.
Not nearly as many costumes. It's kind of like, history was shorter back then. The books were thinner. It's the same thing with costumes.
That's true. I know. 47 years of legacy. I guess we've collected a lot of costumes. It's like one of our first TikToks. We made like a fashion show of some of our favorite costumes that you sent us and posted on TikTok, and then we numbered it and had people comment what their favorite costume was. So a bunch of people came and commented. They're like, "We love the green one with the sparkles."
And the yellow.
The yellow one. Oh,
It looks great on you.
thank you. I got my hair.
We loved pulling them out. We'd pull out a new one. We'd be like, "Oh, look at this!
Yeah.
Oh, look at this!"
We love trying stuff
Oh,
on.
there'll be more.
Yeah, what was the yellow one used for? It was very rating on prom night, big yellow with the
Feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the dance dress.
Oh.
For spinning because it's got built-in tights. Yeah, that was one of those Good Day kind of Bluebird sort of medleys that had some sunshine songs in it.
Oh, well, that's a perfect dress.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Yeah, it's bright yellow. Did you?
Yes.
Did you
It
do?
made me feel like Mitzi Gaynor. Do you all know Mitzi Gaynor? Who she is?
Not
No.
Watch videos. She sold for me.
Mitzi
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
Mom was a fan and took me to see her in Philadelphia. In fact, watching her videos was really kind of special to me. I loved her costumes and I loved her singing. She was in what's the one? South Pacific.
Oh,
Okay,
South
yeah.
Pacific. Okay.
Yeah.
That's Mitzi Gaynor,
Wow.
blonde.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We love it.
Well, forgive me if I don't know the history as well, but I know. Did you start performing with Recreation? Was that like your first taste of performing, or were you doing shows before that?
I was Center County's junior miss.
Okay.
Okay.
So and then I was a state runner-up. So I did a lot of performances, and then in school I would go out. This makes me feel kind of silly to talk about this, but I would go out and do like Rotary Club luncheons and things like that.
cool.
So I started doing that kind of stuff when I was in high school.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome. And how
That's
old
really
were
cool.
you when they started Recreation?
Minus 17. I mean, it's how
The summer after she graduated from high school was the first Recreation group.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
we went right out of high school.
And she was in the first 5 groups.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Okay,
So
awesome.
is that what really inspired you to take on performance full time, like as a career?
I think I was always headed in that direction, and I was a songwriter also.
Yeah.
Wow.
But when I first started, I had a group called Katie Brooks and Freedom, and I had 4 backup singer dancers, and we played for about a year, maybe a year and a half like that. And at that point, I'd always wanted to have a band and do original songs and that kind of stuff. So we went back to an organist in Eastern Kentucky that we had. He was a jazz professor at Morehead State University, and asked him if he knew a player who could do all the things that we wanted to do. And he said, I know a young man who lives in Ohio, and he's worked for Busch Gardens. He's a great instrumentalist, and his name is Dave Kazee. So
There you go.
flew Dave over to Pennsylvania, and he and I spent some time together on a piano bench, and we talked about the things that we wanted to do, and decided that maybe we could do some of those things together. So for about 6 months we worked as a duo, and after 6 months Recreation we were still full-time students then at Penn State, and we were the whole time I was in it, and then for another year or two, and then before they went to Susquehanna. And so Penn State College, and so David and I worked together as a duo for about 6 months, and then because Recreation was in school, we had a lot of VAs to pick up. We didn't have the 365 days a year to do it, so we did some of the VA tours for Recreation.
So you and your
Go ahead.
band did VA tours as well?
We did.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
awesome.
So in Chicago, and there was a chance to do VAs along the way and along the way back, and do that. And I tried to build things like around tours that were hard to get to for the students. Like I would do a whole Texas run when I had a show maybe in Dallas or Houston, and the band would go. So after about 6 months, we knew we had a tour we had said that we would do in January, so we hired a drummer and a bass player out of Ohio. We were friends of Dave's. And then
Sound man.
and we didn't have a sound man then. Dave ran sound from the piano.
Oh.
And then later on, bands are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then later on, I think probably in the summer, we hired a guitar player and a sound man. And then I had background singers come through the years that we knew from Recreation. We had Jim Worthing, we had Laurie Wilkinson, Albert,
Yep.
and
CAROLYN,
and some others that traveled with me some too.
That's really
Awesome.
cool.
That's really cool.
Lee Schaefer traveled with us some.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Jenny and Lee, they were the first people to ever introduce me to Recreation, so I thought it was so cool that you were able to travel with them.
Yes,
I love them
and,
so much.
Jenny and I are still friends.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
And Jenny and I keep up on Facebook. We
Great.
chat often. Her parents, as you know, have been very involved with Recreation, and her dad was really helpful with a lot of things. And he was a Penn Stater. So
we are.
Yeah.
because I'm a Penn Stater, and the family was just terrific to the group, and even Jenny's grandfather was really involved because of the Penn State connection, and that's how we originally got to Jennifer. And so we traveled together for many years and are still friends.
That's really cool.
We just saw a couple of the pictures from back in the tours where you guys were all together kind of in a row.
Like you, Jenny, like doing that together.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
They had cameras then.
I have a question. Is it true that Brad Paisley opened for you when he was 16? That's so good.
It's a little bit true. You can find it online, but not like it was my concert. I was a member of the Wheeling Jamboree, and there's a jamboree in the hills that they do every summer, and it has, I don't know, at that time, and I'm not sure lately, at that time they had 85 to 100,000 people that would come out for a full weekend of country music, and in the middle of it, and back then it was the Oak Ridge Boys and Crystal Gale and a lot of people like that. But Brad Paisley we were all young, and Brad Paisley was just a teenager, but he started doing the Wheeling Jamboree very young, and he was always around with his parents, and so they would do a member show in the middle of Jamboree in the hills. I hope I didn't take too much of a circuitous road. Anyway, they would do a member show, and then they would invite 3 of the members to come and do a show. So a woman opened up who's actually now one of my best friends. Her name is Terry Corker. She was a singer-songwriter from West Virginia, and we met each other because of Wheeling, and she lives in Nashville, and we've we've written songs together and been friends ever since. So she actually opened the show. Little Brad Paisley was in the middle, and then I closed the show.
That's
I don't want to girl and having a career for there, but we were proud of him.
Aw. So that is so cool. Did you have a favorite type of event, big or small? Like, oh, I love the huge crowds, or smaller events?
I'm pretty easy to please across the board, and I love the big event, but I also love when, and now I'm going to get all choked up, the Brooks thing. If you ever talk to my dad, you'll know it's a Brooks thing. But, I love taking our guitar player or Dave with a guitar into individual rooms and VAs, and they always wanted to hear Patsy Cline's song, or one of those people. So I had to learn a lot of Hank Williams song. Had to learn a lot of old. At that point, most of the older veterans were Vietnam veterans.
Yeah.
And so they loved that old country music, Merle Haggard. I had to learn a lot of those songs to be able to kind of, they would just make a request and one of the guys from the band would play for me and I would sing. So that means probably a lot more to me than the big shows, because that's what it was all about.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
it's
lovely.
so touching to me that you cared just as much about the mission, like you personally, as much as Recreation cares. You know, it really shows how much your family, the Brooks as a whole, this means to them. You know, this legacy and this mission, and that we get to carry it on, and that you personally loved this mission and did it yourself, even without Recreation there. I think that's really, really beautiful.
Well, we were honored to have the opportunity, and that is why Mom and Dad started it. And in the first few years, things were different. We were in school, and we did a lot of nursing homes that weren't even necessarily veterans homes. And it's sort of, the mission sort of evolved, and as the opportunities grew out of Washington, we were able to hone in and focus a little bit more. But it was built as a service organization. Prisons. We did prisons.
Wow. I know. Mr. Muller used to tell us
It was
stories
a
about
great
performing
opportunity.
prisons.
It was a great time for heart growth for us too, and we continued to do that once we had the band. And then God brought Jay Muller along, who had the exact same heart, and I think from the minute he set foot and sort of set his sights on it, we were thankful and excited that he was going to be the one to take it over and take it to all the next levels, which he certainly has done. And that's been exciting for us to watch, and still is. And we're very thankful for Jay and Mary.
Well, and you guys, I've explained to you about the Colonel's tours, how Hugh and his quartet went on them at first, but then Katie and someone you've met, John Wilson, joined in. You can elaborate on that a little bit, Katie.
Yeah, John and I work together quite a bit in Florida still.
Okay.
Great singer and great heart, and my dad's college quartet went out to do some VA tours, and all of them were veterans except for Dad, who was wanted to be a chaplain, but didn't have the opportunity for them because he was back here and in school. But when they were in school long before I was. And when one of them did pass away and had a tenor, they needed to fill the spot, and actually with a good need for more help with gear and that kind of stuff, and John stepped right up to the plate, and just an uber talented man, and he of course moved on after Recreation. He of course moved on to Busch Gardens and some other shows like that, and he has his own show, and he's Heart of Gold. So he started to do that, and then we lost another member, and they decided, well, maybe we should bring a chick singer in.
And then you came along. Did you like getting to perform with your dad?
We had fun, and I was with my dad and my buddy.
Yeah.
Mother
Brenda Sound.
ran the sound.
Oh,
Awesome.
I didn't know that.
She actually pays attention.
I know. I love how much family means to y'all, and how you guys all support and involve each other in everything that you do. That's really
I want to turn it, since we originated this with the whole costume thought. Carolyn, the girls were asking about back in the day when y'all first started. They're used to this room of resource that we have here, but what was the budget for costumes back in the day?
I was really curious
There
about
was
that.
no budget There we started on a nickel and a dime, pretty much. But Hugh went to the Sears store in State College, talked to the manager, and he gave us our first costumes. So the girls had one costume for the secular show. The boys had one shirt and a pair of pants for the secular show. We managed to get suits or tuxes for the boys for the sacred show. And I guess he gave us
Sears gowns.
Sears gowns. So Sears Roebuck was the first thing.
Yeah.
So there weren't many costumes, only one per show.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
they up, we got more and more.
Well, it's amazing to see how it grows through the auditions, seeing some videos, see how much more comes along. That's amazing to hear. It started from one.
Mother made a lot of those costumes. A lot of them you see in the first 10 or 15 years. I don't even know how long you were there. But, she made a lot of that, and she and Jay both had the same sort of inventive, creative mind, and when I moved into shows too, I just kept begging her up to work with me because she knew I needed the same kinds of costuming that you need. I do costumes, but now I work alone a lot, and so everything has to be really fast and tear away, and
a lot of Velcro.
Yeah.
A lot of
clean
Velcro.
I had a 20s costume that must have had over 1,000 beads in the skirt. It was a flapper dress. And I took it in to be cleaned. I didn't know you couldn't clean beads like that. Like one big bead.
Held it together.
Oh my goodness.
Do you have an outfit over the years, ma'am, that you are, you look at and say, okay, that was a good idea?
No, I do wish though we had kept one of the first jumpsuits that the girls wore. It was the summer of '76, the bicentennial year. So it was red, white, and blue. And they had a red, white, and blue jumpsuit. I would have it just to see what it looked.
We liked it. We liked that. It was navy blue, and they had kind of these white cap sleeves and with red trim. And they were much better than the red polyester pants that we had. Keep them everywhere we went.
We love jumpsuits. They're some of our favorite things to wear. Very comfortable.
And every few years I go through and cull costumes that I'm either never going to wear or that I'm probably not going to be that size again, or I'm probably not going to get that look again, or I can't even remember why I got it in the first place, or things that, all that. And they were going to go away, and I don't know why I never thought about it before, because I do this every few years. I go through the closet and clean out. I don't know why I never thought about it. I guess I just thought Jay needed a certain number of costumes, and it just hadn't occurred to me. And I thought, well, golly, that doesn't even make sense, because Jay's creative enough to come up with all kinds of things. And so I told him, I said, I got some sequins here I'm about to dump. Look at them. And so I started sending him pictures. I hung them up on the door of my closet, and I said, just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on them. And he went through about 5 or 6 things and gave them all thumbs up. He said, let's just say yes. Send them to us and we'll figure it out from there. So we kind of went with that. And it's great for me. I was telling Jay said, does it make you sad to get rid of these costumes? And I said, I don't really consider it getting rid of them. I really kind of consider it, it's kind of like giving them to a sibling. Recreation as a sibling.
It's like a hand-me-down.
It was nice to pass over. It's nice to be able to see them in use instead of just hanging in the closet. And
we're really happy.
Ladies.
We've had a lot of fun, playing, trying them
they're
on.
beautiful.
They
We're
are
so grateful for you being able to donate these to us. I mean,
I'd like to know how you kept them in such good shape.
they're pretty.
Because when you work the stage, you work the stage. So I know you're working as hard as everybody else, and I don't know.
I was fortunate. A lot of the things Mom honestly helped me pick out almost everything I wore, and I do the same thing with her. Even still, I stand in my studio and I take pictures of myself. I say, Mom, what do you think about this? Or this looks kind of funky. What can I do with this? Or I want to get from this dress to this dress. What do you think is the fastest way to do it? So she's all of that, and I didn't have to pile in 4 of everything to keep taking care of it. I didn't have to put it in a trailer. I didn't have to with all my other clothing. So it's a little bit easier when there's just one of you.
Yeah. Right.
If you lose a piece of it, you can just go to another costume. You don't say, "Oh boy, I lost one piece of an 8 ensemble."
I've been there. Mrs. Brooks, I know we're so privileged to live in an age where we can buy anything online, but whenever you started to collect costumes and really look at designing costumes for shows, how did you find them? Did you just go into stores around where you were and look for costumes?
Every place we traveled, I was looking. There was a costume store in York, Pennsylvania that I went to a lot. There was a tuxedo store in Harrisburg, which had a lot of things for the guys. But every place along the road, I was looking constantly. Could we use this? Could we use that? Oh, that would be nice. So it was continuous. You'd get one show ready and you'd get ready to start for the next one as soon as that one was ready.
And actually, there were catalogs that you could still, you could order from mail.
I
They were
vaguely
kind of like
remember those.
Amazon, like Sears and Pennies. And
there were costumes.
a lot of
places,
Capizio.
Yeah.
All those companies.
Yeah.
And the store in York she was talking about sold dance costumes as well as fabric. So twice a year they would really empty out their closet, and she would go down and buy sequins and trim, and so she could bling up whatever we found somewhere else. And we had a few things donated over the years, but as shows grew, because as you know, we did conventions and fairs and other kinds of banquets, other kinds of paying shows, and we worked with an agent. And as that started to happen, there was actually a little bit more money available.
For that kind of thing.
Well, first to Carolyn and then to Katie for your own show. Do you remember an outfit that people particularly responded to?
For different kinds of costumes, you get different kinds of response. Like I had this royal blue gown, and it was off the shoulders, and it was an antebellum kind of look, and it was sparkly, and every time I came out, the whole audience all together went, ooh. Always that dress.
Right.
And so there were several costumes that I did that, and I have in my Christmas show that I do now. I have it's kind of made like a cape, but it's got these telescoping pieces that come out kind of long that go down in the edges, so I can lift my arms up like this. And if you look on my Facebook page, you'll probably see a picture or two of those from last Christmas, and it makes and it has lights in it. And
that's so cool.
that's amazing. That gets a lot of attention. I do a Santa thing that looks like Santa's been, looks like COVID's been going on a long time for Santa, and he's been quarantined as it blows up.
Oh, that's
really
cool.
I just step into it, and then it's got a fan and a blower.
Yeah.
That gets a big
cool.
Yeah. I can't think of anything recreation. Can you? I can't think of anything.
You like those white with the different colored vests?
Yeah. They look
That
like
was probably
patchwork,
around
sequin
10.
patchwork.
Yeah. That would need 10, like what you said, Higgins, from there.
Yeah.
And I remember Katie, the group used to do a combined show with the Katie Brooks show at the Hershey Convention Center every Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And it was called Christmas in Hershey. And Katie had this really cool thing where I'm hoping I'm getting this right. You either went from a gown to a Santa outfit or a Santa outfit to a gown. Like things, she was a transformer for that, for those few minutes. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I had most of the Santa. In fact, I've had people helping me with costumes before who I've just said, just put the pants on and just zip the dress, like, and they didn't get it. But it's a little bit of a gimmick, but it's I had the shoes and the pants on underneath the dress, so that all I had to do was pull the pants out and then stuff the dress in the pants.
Wow.
And worked from there, adding the other pieces. Now I had to blow up Santa. It's a little bit, but I do it on stage.
That's amazing.
That's great. Yeah. Absolutely. We're stuck together. We're sequins.
Even one, there you go. See, it happens all the time. When Chris and I first got married, we've only been married 14 years when we first got married, and it would get up to the winter season. I used to come down here almost solid November through February. And so I would be getting ready, I'm getting all my costumes ready. He would say, there is glitter on my face.
Yes. Oh my
I have
gosh.
to go to work and I have glitter on my face. And I said, it's just for a couple weeks till I get the costumes ready. There are sequins in the bathtub.
Yes.
That's
Oh, we
what
have that
I
too.
all over the place. I swear I will be 25 years down the road and find like sequins in my car or in my bag or something and be like, recreations following me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, 40 years down the road. Same.
Yeah. I know. That's what's great. I love meeting alumni because we all have this shared experience and this shared bond. And even though it may have looked different back then, you know, we still went through a lot of the same things. And getting sequins stuck together, finding them in your shower later on.
So relatable. Even if it's something small,
Yeah.
it's like, even if you've never even met before, and then you meet and you're like, oh, we're in recreation. It's a small experience that we've both been
we
through.
know what you've been through.
Right.
We know what you're going through.
But it's a great experience. It's a wonderful way to kind of start your life and to build a heart of service.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Which, if you're careful and prayerful about that, you'll. My dad used to always say the reward for service is more service. If you take some of the things that you're learning from Jay and from the opportunity that you have right now, you will have a lifetime of joy through every circumstance you live through, no matter what that circumstance is, because you'll be able to carry in your heart that heart of service. And that's the most important lesson of recreation. That and learning that there are people who paid a much greater price for the costumes that you wear than anybody with a bank account. They were willing to.
That's good. That's true. I'm crying too.
Yeah.
Especially like this in front of everyone. I talk about things like veterans, but it is close to us, and you all are close to us because of what you do, and I feel like you're family with us because you're part of the same mission. And
It's such a it's such a privilege.
Yeah.
A
It's
privilege
a
and
wonderful
an honor.
opportunity. And we're really grateful for just how much you guys have put into it that we can have this opportunity now.
Yeah,
And that
absolutely.
we can get as much out of it that we
Almost
are.
47 years. It's crazy.
I know. Say, turn to that man that's there with you. He's the one that's really kept it alive and kept it moving forward. And he and his wife, they were godsends, and they still are, especially to our veterans. And that's special to us. I'm married to a retired Marine Corps colonel, and my brother's retired Army colonel. And this mission, my nephew is retired Army captain. You can say it. And so this whole mission is something. My nephew was injured in Kuwait and spent 2 years in Walter Reed, so
Wow.
it's very close to home.
Absolutely.
It's a little bit easier, but I do want to say you've been awfully complimentary to our family. But we really appreciate you. I think here I go again. It's wonderful to find young people who are willing to, while you're on a professional track, and you know that, because a lot of us have come out of recreation and made a living in music, and it's not a simple job, and sometimes it's a very humiliating job, and sometimes it's a very humble existence because you're working just because you love to work. But certainly for the time that you're in recreation, you're not working to get rich in dollars, but you're piling up a big bank account. So.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
no.